So let's introduce you to Ninth Element. Hello, hello.
To everybody in the chat. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here. And Paula, thank you so much for having me. I'm
Oh,
nervous too.
oh my goodness. How long ago was it that I tried to get you up on one of my live streams?
Last September.
Now, you only had about 500 subscribers back at that point in time.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know I found your channel because of
the hillbilly hot tub. Yeah.
Yes,
it's actually it's in my yard. It's right around here.
That's how I found you, and I was like, this chick is cool.
I'm a little bit country, but yeah, I love doing. I love really weird DIYs that are safe.
I thought it was so cool. It was very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So now
you can use it. Right now it's a cold plunge because I'm currently sitting in the courtyard in my backyard. You got the Honda Element behind me here. And it's about 85. So it's a cold plunge right now.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. So when I met you, you only had about 500 subscribers. And now how many do you have?
25,000. I think a little bit more than 25,000. I don't know. I haven't.
And that changed what? December, January? What happened? Just so everybody knows.
Okay, so it's like everybody's dream, except for it was not even on my radar when I started my channel because I started it for completely different reasons. But the name of the video that went viral is called Emergency Heat and Light, the Crisco Candles, which is a 72-day candle. And it's a one and done. There's no editing. I'm coughing and choking because at the time we were having forest fires. I was having asthma kind of attacks, but I was like powering through and thinking, who's going to watch this video? Like, it's so cheesy and corny. And it went viral in January this year. So it's been on there for over a year, like a year and whatever, a couple of months. And when Texas had their power outages, YouTube just, I guess that was the magical phrase in the algorithm, because the algorithm is our friend, and that's how our stuff gets pushed out, is having all the right words. And it just shot up into the YouTube world airways. I mean, it's been streamed all over the world on Facebook, all kinds of other platforms. And yeah, I made enough money off of that one to live off of this year. But that's a one of. Like, I think I'm going to be like one of those one-hit wonders, like in rock and roll.
No, I love your stuff, and I love your personality.
Oh,
and I'm wondering, is it because you're originally a Canadian?
Oh, yeah, I know I don't sound like it anymore. A few things like pasta, mauve, about, house. I mean, those are things you can't lose.
House? What's wrong with saying house?
Well, because they think we say house down here. Like, so I'm going to go over to your house. Like, they really think that like a dog. I'm like, I don't sound like that. And if I have a couple cocktails, my Canadian accent, I guess, really flies out. Because I've been down here now 23 years. Yeah. No offense to all my American friends, but I'm a true blooded, proud Canadian. I came down here to go to school for 10 weeks and I stayed. And I got married. So I'm actually a registered alien according to my green card. Isn't that lovely? And I renew it every 10 years. And of course I have to especially abide by all the laws, which, I'm not a lawbreaker by day anyways, or night. And so unless there's a reason to deport me, I'm allowed to stay here, so, which is, I'm very thankful.
That's good. Yeah. So I see behind you, you have an element.
Yes.
Now, this is kind of the focus of your channel.
This is my love. Before it was the ninth element, Ellie, it was named Ellie. So I still call her Ellie, the ninth element, because, 9 is just such a strong number. And it's in Chinese numerology, it's good luck for traveling. I know. In the periodic table, it's titanium, which is the strongest metal known to man. It's also the ending of a cycle. So I like beginnings. I'm in the middle of a beginning right now, and I just think it's cool. Like I never saw the movie The Fifth Element. I still need to see that movie because I hear it's like really cool, and I don't know. I would probably like it. But I mean, I'm not sure what when people make references to me about that, I'm like, what are they talking about? Like I have to go Google it. Like what is Urban Dictionary or something? Like I'm so old sometimes. It's like, what are these young kids talking about? Just not hip.
So you take your element, you've built it out, and you're traveling in it, correct?
Yeah. I'm trying to be well, this year I've already been 3 months on the road this year out of it. I had a 6-week trip to the Southwest. And there's videos on my channel all about that. And I had just an amazing time with 2 of my girlfriends that live down in that area, and also by myself. And then I just got back, what's today, Wednesday, Monday night, from 7 days up in the Deschutes National Forest for my yearly camp out that I've been going to for 13 years. And this year was so fun. I mean, every year is fun, but I think every year gets better and better. So I had a really good group of people that came up. And I have other YouTube collaborations and meetups this summer, and a van festival. And so as much as I can live out of Ellie, the ninth element, that's my therapy, that's my medicine, that's my happy place.
And how long have you been doing that? How long have you had Ellie?
I've had Ellie since 2008. She's a 2003 Honda Ellie, so she's a little bit more, I guess, longer and a bit more deluxe, although she's pretty basic, which I love. And she had 40,000 miles on her when I first got her, and her first 27,000 miles were being pulled behind an RV. So she already knows how to be towed. So if I get a vehicle big enough, I can tow her, and she knows how to do it because she's already done it before.
I love the way you put stuff. Oh my goodness. So you talked about some collaborations.
Yeah.
I noticed in one of your last videos you were showing the Build by Schooliana, and what is the other channel that you spend a lot of time with?
Jalina's channel, Leave Her Wild. She used to be part of the Crockers and Coffee with the Crockers, and I forget their parents' channel. She was married to Jason from the Crockers. I think his name. They're no longer married. They split up a while ago, and she went off. And because she's been doing YouTube for so long, and she's doing so many social platforms, she's really good at it too. She decided to do like her own channel, and it was about van life. And she had a old van for 98 van, and had that for a while, and then decided to sell it and move up. And so she's building out a schoolie, and she's actually on her way back to Oregon right now. As far as I know, I mean, we're not texting each other or anything like that. I mean, this lady's busy, you know, she's but she's apparently on her way back to Oregon, and she's going to be finishing her build out at Isaac's undisclosed location here in Oregon.
Undisclosed location. Yeah. It just sounds so exclusive.
I know, right? Well, it's the only reason you know, he's in a location where he's renting, and he can't have a lot of traffic coming and going because that's the agreement with the landlord. So he has to be careful. Like, and also when you're building, right, there's lots of expensive materials. I mean, they're all locked up and they're safe and everything, but still, you just don't want to invite. It's his home as well, you know, or it's. Yeah. He's not living there, but I mean, he's there all the time because he's working on his bus. And so, yeah, he just would rather us not give away the location. But I think he's already doxed himself in some of his videos anyways. I try to be really vague and like, here's a back road in Oregon. Let's go see Isaac, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you noticed things changed much since your channel's grown?
Well, you know, actually just these past couple of weeks after getting together with Jaylene and Isaac, they have like I mean, my subscribers from the beginning, like all you guys from this van life community are awesome, and, you know, leave lovely comments and stuff like that. But I feel like that community has expanded with having
Mm-hmm.
more of Jaylina's newer subscribers and Isaac's come in. And so I've been a little bit busier with the comments, I think, the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. I just, I feel like my channel is still kind of growing at a nice slow rate. You know, it's not, I mean, I think we get about the same amount of views on our videos, and it's not about the number of subscribers you have, it's about the views. And this is something I've always known. And, you know, to be like, you know, even making a decent living, I have said this in live streams before, like in the comments, you need to be getting about 20 or 30,000 views on your videos in a month to make anything close to $1,000. You know, it really,
Well, that's good to know.
yeah,
like, I wouldn't have known.
It doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you're monetized, they don't care how many subscribers you have. That's not going to, I mean, I'm sure there's a level of a push for how many subscribers you have, but I mean, if you care about the money, then it's about the views. So, you know, make really amazing, engaging content and people will watch it.
Fingers crossed. You know, you and I did quite a bit of talking last night, and I'm kind of like, oh no, which things was I going to talk about? But one thing I do recall is you had mentioned that you kind of identified a bit with my story, and I didn't ask you why. Like, what actually is your story, Mindy?
What is my story? Well, I mean, that's a really vague question, Paula.
Well, I'm trying to be polite, sweetheart.
Oh, well, be blunt. Ask me blunt. I mean, because what is my story? I don't know.
So you were married.
Yeah, I was, huh?
What happened?
We knew each other for a very short period of time and got married. So I was 33 and he was 27. Yeah, like I like man. And we're like very, very good friends. And I was traveling for work and he was going to school. And, you know, he cheated. So, and it hurt. And, you know, he totally wanted to go. I mean, he had divorce remorse. He wanted to go to counseling and stuff. And we did. And I was like, dude, I'm always going to wonder. I'm going to drive you crazy. I'm going to drive myself crazy. I'm always going to wonder. Love you to pieces. Sorry that happened for you and, you know, for me, but, you know, peace out. It's been fun.
So did that prompt any changes in your life going through that?
Well, I really haven't. I mean, so I divorced in what year is it? 21. I divorced in 2008 or 2008. And I dated a little bit. You know, that's when the internet was really getting going. Oh my God.
Oh, online dating.
Oh my God. I mean, I just started a whole channel on that because I just dipped my toe into it briefly. And it was like, if there was a criminal, a weirdo, polyamory. I mean, I'm nothing against polyamory people or even criminals and stuff like that. But it was like, if I could get anything completely opposite of what I was looking for, I found it. I was like, this is really weird. Like, it just was so unnatural. So I stopped. And then after that, you know, there was a lot of unplanned trips to Canada from Oregon starting in like 2012 with my family. And I was making 5 trips a year home. And it was not for pleasure. Like it took me a while to not have trauma, like driving to the border and be like, this is a happy trip.
Aww.
So, yeah. So the 9th element is the reason for the 9 is I had 9 deaths. My whole family passed away in 5 years.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear that, Mindy.
Yeah. And it hurts all the time, like right now, but I, you know, I'm just making the best way that I can, you know?
Yeah. And so do you feel like traveling's been kind of a
Oh,
healing thing?
totally. I mean, I'm not running away from anything, but it's good for me to have something positive to focus on instead of like, and like, okay, like, so I watch, like, I cry at those phone commercials, or like, like just stupid commercials and stuff like that. I mean, even before my family passed away, I'm like, oh, it's so lovely. But it's like when I was doing my build, I would be like, oh, I can call my brother Lawrence because he was, he did electronics and electricity. And then I go like, oh, I can't call him, he's dead. Or, things like that. So still trying to get past all of that, because the last death was, well, there was 3 in 2018.
Oh, wow.
So my whole world is changing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I told you last night, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be a sad live stream.
No, it's not. You know what? That's the thing. People sugarcoat a lot of things in life. You're sharing the reality of it. You've gone through a lot of stuff, but you have not let it stop you.
Everybody has. That's just it. Is that, my story, like, we relate because your father passed away, or you've had a friend pass away, or whatever. And it's like COVID. Oh my gosh. It's like, I feel like everyone can relate, Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like there's so many things that we need to find that works for us for our own self-care.
Yeah.
And for me, my ambulance, as silly as that might sound, has been the biggest thing for me for my own personal self-care.
Yeah. Don't you feel like you're like, when you were a little kid, didn't you like to make forts? Like,
yes.
Woods or out of blankets and stuff?
Over the kitchen table.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Kitchen table. As soon as it was warm enough, I used to always haul the blankets off my bed, because we lived in this house in Port Moody, just outside of Vancouver, and it overlooked the Cook Inlet, or where's the inlet there? Poco Inlet, I think, is the inlet. And I would drag all the blankets off my bed out onto the deck and sleep on the deck. And my parents would wake up in the morning to go wake me up, and they'd be like, where is she? Oh, she's outside. And I'd be damp because it's the West Coast and you're on the ocean. So my blankets would be damp. And they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I wanted to sleep outside under the stars. And I even have a bed here at my house in the garage on wheels so that I can roll it outside and sleep outside. Being outside heals me. I mean, I feel alive. I feel alive when I'm outside. And that's why I love having a small camper, is because I don't want to camp in it. I don't want to be stuck inside of it. I want to be living out of it.
Yeah.
And I have everything to live. Well, you've seen if you've seen some of my videos, like, I've lived in winter unexpectedly out of it. It's in snow, and, I've lived in the heat of summer. I mean, I live out of it.
Mm-hmm. So Rob and Jan Can Van, they're Canadian as well, and they're saying, Mindy, I missed the very start. Where in Canada are you from originally?
So I was born in Vancouver, and my family was pretty much in the West End and in Port Moody. And then when I was 9, we moved to Kamloops, and I went to high school there. And then as soon as a graduation happened, I moved over to Silver Star Mountain in the Okanagan, and I lived there until I moved down here.
And so what were you doing there?
I was racing mountain bikes and a ski instructor, and I also worked for a wine bar at a restaurant. I'm a level below a sommelier, but I didn't have my papers then. But I'm a professional wine taster.
Ooh, darling.
Yeah.
Guess what we're doing when I come in?
Oh my God! This area has so many amazing wineries. Like, it's like you could be in Germany or France with the vistas. And, I heard someone tell me yesterday that the Willamette Valley is like the number 3 spot in the world for quality of dirt, and for, really good dirt for growing food in, so I believe it. I mean, the vegetables that grow here are amazing. Like, I don't even try. There's farmers markets everywhere, and I just go to the farmers markets and get the most amazing food.
So you really love it out there that you stayed.
I have moved away from Eugene 3 times. So I met Eugene the first time on my way home from the Baja in Mexico. I drove from Canada by myself to the Baja, in January of 1997 because I wanted to learn how to surf and I didn't want to be under 18 feet of snow that year.
Oh, yes.
So
how adventurous. Oh my goodness.
And that was
a lot of traveling.
That was the second year that the internet was out, and my friends are like, hey, there's this beach called San Pedrito. It's outside of Todos Santos. You should go there. So I pinned it I wrote, circled it on a paper map and followed the road. Oh, that's a whole, those are thousands of live streams. That trip alone is like crazy. So I met these ladies down there and they were going to an alternative school here for appropriate technology, which was sustainable living skills, solar, sustainable forestry, organic gardening, primitive living skills, all that kind of stuff. And so I went to the land on my way up the I-5 heading back to Canada and went to the school, and I was just like, this is so cool. Because I went to the second solar heated school in Canada in Kamloops. I think it's deactivated now. It was called Pine Ridge. And I don't know if they still have it all hooked up with the solar and whatnot. And so I started studying solar then, because Kamloops, I think they have 300 plus days of sunshine a year. So they've got really good solar aspects. And I've always been really interested in that, like living off the grid. And so I met these ladies, met Eugene, fell in love with it, went back to Canada, and I'd already hired a job broker to find me a internship in Switzerland because I graduated from culinary school in British Columbia with distinction. Thank you.
Ooh, oh, you can cook and we can drink. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, tell me more.
A few things, Paul. I know a few recipes, just a few. Yeah, so I went to Switzerland, and I got there, and my oldest brother was in a very serious motorcycle accident, and he was killed. So I got on a plane and flew back to Canada, and didn't finish my internship there. I was there for about a month, and then I came back to. So I mean, I think a lot of the changes started for me in '97, maybe 98. Yeah.
It's probably when you realized that you loved the freedom of traveling. Because I mean, to travel from Canada all the way to Mexico by yourself
and to Europe. Well, no, I went with my boyfriend. I flew with my boyfriend over to Europe, but then I went on to Switzerland by myself and didn't speak a lick of any of their dialects, like German, Swiss, Romansh, you name it. And that was all set up with the job. Like when you go there to do an internship, to finish your degree, they set you up with any kind of less language lessons. There's tours. They have this thing called Family Week or whatever, but it's 6 weeks long, and they have all these cabins up in the Alps. You just get to go and stay in. You don't even have to pay for it.
Really?
This country's got it figured out. You only have to work. I think I only had to work 30 hours a week, but you end up working more because it's culinary. I was catering out of a castle that was from the 1700s. It was insane. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Jan here. Such an interesting and adventurous life.
Totally. My mantra is, if I were to be given a terminal diagnosis today, could I die happy? And my answer is yes. But I'm keeping on. There's more to do.
So what are some of your future plans? What's still left to do on your bucket list?
Changes. Is there summer? I've got for summer. I've met up with, I wonder if she's here in the chat. Has anybody seen, she changed her YouTube channel name to Finding My Muse, I think. Is she in here? Kim?
I haven't seen her.
She's one of the new subscribers to all of us, and she is a content creator. Finding My Muse, I think, is what she used to be. Kim Davis on YouTube, and she's an artist, and she lives in Napa. So I'm trying to set up a meetup with her, and then I want to see Jaylena and Isaac again when Jaylena gets Ray bus build. Maybe, I don't know. Could you see me living in a bus, Ray? I don't know.
Do you ever think of using a bigger vehicle or a different vehicle, or this is it? This is what you want to keep on with?
I've had 4 Westphalia. I've had 1 Volkswagen bus and 3 Westphalias, and those were perfect. Like that was the perfect vehicle for me. I had them over, a period of 8 years as a young adult, but I got tired of them always breaking down, and I learned to fix quite a bit. But I'm not into mechanicking. Like I want to get in my car, I want to turn it on, I want heat, I want air conditioning, and somebody can change the oil and the tires and fix it, because that's just not my wheelhouse. I mean,
Yeah.
I could do anything I put my mind to, but that's not one that I want to have to do. But so bigger vehicle, no, not yet. I mean, I love the Element. I really do. In fact, all of my friends want to get one now after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whenever they come camping with me and they see how glamorous my minimal pack is. Like I have a propane stove in here. I have a shower. I have a cooler. I have a fridge, but I'm having problems with my AC stuff in there, so I'm trying to get that figured out. I have lights. I have a bed. I have chairs. I have a table. I have clothes. I can fit my gear. I even have a boat with oars, a dinghy. I mean, I do need a roof rack. I can see why people put roof racks on their cars, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love the gas mileage. Like 25 to 27 miles a gallon you can't beat that with an SUV, like, and buses like 10 to 12 miles a gallon at the cost of gas right now. It's like, parked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our fuel has gone up a lot over the summer this year too. It's not diesel though, not diesel.
Not diesel. Down here, I think diesel's neck and neck with gas, at least for mid-range gas, I think. I don't know. I fill up right now. Unless I'm on the road, I only fill up once a month because everything I love to do is really close to where I live. Like I'm 1 hour from the ocean. I'm 1 hour from the mountains. There's lakes all around where I live. Like if you watch Lucretia's channel, Burning Up the Road, she does live streams from all these great little lakes that are close to our houses.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So on your channel,
mm-hmm.
you haven't really shared much about yourself or who you are. Like you kind of keep the personal part back more. If you were to open up to people on your channel, what do you think you would let them know or tell them or teach them?
Probably that nothing's impossible. Like whatever your desire is, you should just go for it. And if you have a negative feedback loop, people aren't, as long as this is a healthy thing you're going for. I mean, but if you have a negative feedback loop, change your friends, change your community, change who you're hanging out with. Because I've proven it to myself over and over again, like going to Baja, I went to culinary school. I'm an herbalist. I went to the University of Oregon for festival and event management. I mean, I'm licensed to throw a kick-ass party, and serve the food and alcohol. But, it's like my family would be like, you're doing what? Why? How does this all go together? And I've had the most amazing jobs because of my diverse background. And I'm going to keep on doing that. Like, I'm not going to stop going to school. I'm not going to stop traveling. Yeah. Like.
So are you still working now?
No. I'm practicing retirement.
How's it going?
I love it. Yeah. So you can imagine with all of the work that I did, was I'm a community health worker, which do they have those in Canada? It's like a social worker. It's, working in health and human services. Loved the job. I mean, because I love helping people and solving complex problems. That was my jam. And so with everything that I was trying to deal with personally and then holding space for critical mental health, October 31st, 2019, I remember packing up my stuff from my desk and thinking, yeah, I'm not coming back to work for a while. Like I got to stop. I have to stop because I was just like, I was over the edge. Like I was over the edge. I was under, like it was. So yeah. And then when it was time to go back, I was renegotiating hours, like, because I believe in a 30-hour work week. I don't believe that we should have to work 40.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, trying to push my own agenda in a big corporation is hard to do. And my doctor even said, you know what, 30 hours for you to go back would be perfect with your health and able to take care of yourself, And so there was a little bit of back and forth about me having that. And when I had to struggle for what my needs were, I was like, this just doesn't feel like the right fit anymore. So I started to look for a different place to work, and I was getting ready and set up to do it. And then COVID hit. And the work that I do is grant funded, and they stopped all the funds. So I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, I'd already exhausted most of my emergency fund to take a mental health break, because they have some sort of minimal payments down here for that kind of stuff, but they don't have, like, I think Canada, you can be on unemployment if you're off on mental health or something. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not down here. I like a planner, prepper that I am, had a, savings for that. But then it was like the COVID hit, and I was like, oh, and yeah, so that just kind of started and then my channel also took off at the same time. So these things were happening, and I was like, well, for a second I thought, oh, maybe I can make it with YouTube, like I had and then it was like, no, this is going to be a few more years before this is going to be a livable income. So,
but it seems like the timing worked well for when your stuff went viral, because you've had a couple that have done quite well.
Yeah, I forget that I have other ones that have a ton of views too. Because it's so funny. My friends, they call me up and they're like I was telling you last night, my friend calls me at 6:00 in the morning. He's like, you have a video going viral. And I'm thinking, oh, it's got 1,000 views. Big deal. He goes, no, it's 44,000 views in the last 24 hours. I'm like, what? and then, from there, think about 44,000 from January to, what is it, 850 something right now? Like,
oh,
yeah. So that's the dream that everybody's hoping, so we'll see. I don't know.
But how does a person maintain that, right?
Oh, yeah. And I just, like, this year have learned, if you go back in my old videos, like, I didn't know what I was doing for editing. And now I feel like, yeah, I got this. I'm pretty good. These are sweet, and I'm getting more views. And I'm like, and I'm not getting any complaints about the music being too loud or anything like that. Like, I've had really positive criticism for people, like, because I love constructive criticism, because how do you get better if you don't get that? And I mean, my favorite thing, I'm not going to say what it is. Well, we'll talk about it privately, because if I name it, then someone's going to come in my comments and go, burp, 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 burp. So we'll leave that out.
Our behind the scenes conversations are pretty damn good.
Oh, when we get together, you won't need a facelift, you won't need Botox, because it'll just be like the whole time. Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Comments here.
But you don't, like, talking to you, you're so down to earth. You wouldn't know that you've had, such recent success, because you're just so normal. Yeah, I'm trying to find a better word for that, because you're not exactly normal either.
My cousin, who I don't think she watches YouTube, but she would die. Well, I won't go too far into her, but let's just say my cousin is, like, super spicy and colorful, and she calls me capital B for boring. She goes, you're so vanilla. And I'm like, hey, I'm happy with my vanilla. Like, I'm good with this. Just because you're all wild and crazy and stuff like that, I don't need that.
I do not see you like that, doing all the things, all the traveling that you've done, all the education that you've taken. It seems like you get something in your mind and you go for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's pretty much so far nothing that I've not wanted. Oh, blind views. You're so pretty. Time to pick my
Time to
dog's
pick them
videos.
apart.
Go ahead. I'll be sending you a video. This is how I see it. Um,
Genuine, definitely. That's how we would describe you. Down to earth. Yeah.
oh yeah. Well, I'm just like all of you, like I'm like a little bit of girl. I'm a lot of like a tomboy. I'm a super can do. Oh, that's what I was gonna say is menopausal moment there. There
Oh,
isn't
I have no idea what you're talking about.
right. There isn't anything so far that I've gone after that I've not been able to attain. And I feel so blessed. I don't take it for granted. I don't like this is the most I've I mean, I'm talking on the internet, so basically the whole world can see it right now.
Yes.
So I guess I am telling everybody, but I don't talk about I guess I don't talk about I don't know, I just don't talk about that stuff unless asked because I just don't know if it's that interesting, I don't know.
Oh, I think you're a lot more interesting than you realize.
Which is a barbecue that is so amazing. It's perfect for solo van life. Perfect. And it's a smoker. You won't believe it. Yeah, well, no. When you see this, you'll be like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to get. Because I kept firing up this big barbecue when I was doing my kitchen run out because I moved my kitchen out to the garage for like one hot dog or like one hamburger. And it was actually kind of depressing because it's like, oh, it's just little old me and one wiener or one hot dog or one hamburger. It's like, this is depressing. I need a smaller grill.
So Butter Beanhead would like to know, do you have mosquito netting for your car?
I do have some pieces that I think they're sitting under this bed right now that I have to like on one of my trips cut and then re-sew or re-glue the magnets to it. It's like a set for like French doors. But I tend to not camp in places where the mosquitoes are bad. And if they are, here's a nice natural hack for all of you for summer. Excuse me, I have to hiccup. You take a spray bottle, fill it with water, and you add 7 to 8 drops of lemongrass and 7 to 8 drops of basil essential oils, and the mosquitoes won't bug you at all. Like we didn't get bit at all at Crescent Lake this past week because I had the spray.
Wow.
Yeah, so it works really good. So, there's one place I love to go to. It's called Waldo Lake here, but it's so bad with mosquitoes until like end of August. So I won't go there till end of August.
Mm-hmm. So Forever Best Friend would like to know, what kind of meat have you been smoking in your new toy?
I made jalapeno cream cheese, cheddar cheese, bacon wrap poppers, smoked. I did I guess you call it herb rub pork loin. I did a Santa Fe rub beef tenderloin. I did vegetables. Oh my God. Okay. I think I invented this new thing. Smoked vegetables and peanut sauce are the bomb. Like, oh my God. And then I tried to bake on it. That was a fail. That was the only fail I had, was trying to bake on. Oh, I made chicken satay because that's what I was having the peanut sauce with the chicken satays. I think that's it. Oh, and we did bratwurst sausages on it. I think I have all of that coming up in the next week or so.
Oh, good. Good.
I filmed a lot of the cooking because I was just like, so everyone's like, where's Mindy? She's at the smoker. Like, I wouldn't leave it alone. I'm like, can I smoke that for you? Can I grill it for you? Can we? No, don't use the pan. Let's use my grill.
Well, it sounds like it's something really interesting to watch, especially like, other travelers probably get tired of the same stuff to eat all the time. And it's like, how do you make stuff with limited space? And so it's nice to see some of the recipes that you use.
Just weirdly, I've just begun to be more keto, like not on purpose. But, in camping, if you start it with your meat frozen and you're, depending on how many days you're going. Yeah. So like I got one of these DeWalt coolers, which is just like it's a lot like a Yeti.
Okay.
And so it does hold the meat frozen for 5 days with ice, which is perfect. I actually had to pull meat out and start to thaw it so that I could cook it, which was fine. And then veggies, I just put them in another cooler with an ice block just to keep them from getting eaten by the chipmunks and also, getting wilting in the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So meat and veggies are really easy. I usually am more vegetarian, but because I got this new smoker grill and I had all this time on my hands at the lake, I was just playing with it like every day.
Awesome.
One
Okay,
thing
one thing you don't have that you really want.
I don't know. I mean, I really do have everything. I mean, I used to overpack before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. An awning. Like Chrome has, not the company that Chrome has on his rig. There's actually SUVing. Oh no, it's called Soft Roading the West. He's a guy here in Eugene, and his Subaru had an awning on it, and it's made by a company out of Bend. So I would like to get an awning off of the driver's side. That would be awesome. Awning. And other than that, I don't know yet because I think I have everything. I really do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the other half of that is there anything that you have that you don't really need?
Well, I used to think that, so oversharing now on the internet for the whole world, uh, toilet. I mean, I end up using it as a seat, which is awesome because it makes a great little bench to sit on or a side table. But I actually have a bucket toilet with the kitty litter bags and like a little jar for pee and stuff. And I keep thinking I don't need it. And I left it out of my car for my northwest or my southwest trip, and all through Mexico, New Mexico, the rest areas were closed. I mean, like, yeah, okay. And then there's wind. Okay, wind is a season there. As a lady peeing in the wind, golden showered, whole new meaning. Like, I was like, what the? What? Wait, what? Never in my life. Okay. And then first time in my life, no toilet. I had to poop in a bag in my car. Like that was traumatizing. I wished I would have had my toilet. Like I was just so toilet. Hey, don't need it, but need it kind of thing. So, it happens. Van life. Yeah. In a state without a rest area. Oh God, in the gas station, like so bad.
So do you feel like the pandemic had affected your travel a lot? Like the bathrooms, for example. I wouldn't have thought of that. The bathrooms being closed.
Yeah, I mean, so when I took off on my trip, I took off on Ray, the White Sands. Oh God, I want to go back there. That place was amazing. I took off on St. Patrick's Day, and they were lifting the restrictions. And so at first it was fine. Like Vegas, you couldn't even tell. Arizona, couldn't even tell. New Mexico, you could tell, especially the rest areas. I mean, they actually barriered off the rest areas so that people didn't like go to the bathroom on the lawn and stuff. Because probably people. I mean, I would have went behind a tree. Like I would have picked up my toilet paper and brought it with me. But it's like, come on, no rest areas. Yeah. And then, they now it's really interesting with booking in the parks because all these parks are booked up and then people don't show up. But I figured out a thing. So blind views, listen to this one. You want to talk about this. If you roll up to a spot and the people haven't showed up in 24 hours, you can take the spot. So I did it. And I was wanting to pay, but the park rangers, they didn't take money and they didn't have a bucket to drop the money in. So I was like, we're the Kavanaughs for the evening. Put it on the window. Oh, we're the Kavanaughs from Oregon. Like I stayed for free in a couple of places. And I even the ranger was like, I can't take your money. We're not supposed to let you come in. I'm like, well, online doesn't know what on the ground is doing. I need a place to stay. So we're here. And after a while, I was just like, I mean, I don't want to lie, but it's like, well, they don't have their system figured out. I'm willing to pay. You can't pay. So I've just assumed all these other identities. But the Kavanaughs were what was that? That was Oliver Lee State Park. We were the Kavanaughs there. Yeah. So thank you, Kavanaughs, for your campsite. I mean, I haven't been home for a year and a half. This is the longest I've ever been out of Canada and away from, my godmother's still alive. She's in Vancouver in memory care. My best friend of 47 years, she's in Vancouver. I've got nieces and nephews on the mainland, and then cousins and nephews on the island. And so I'm used to still going home like at least twice a year. It's easier for me to go there than them to call, they have like tons of kids and partners and businesses and stuff. So I just would usually make my trip up there. Plus, I love to go home, I love to go visit. So, I'm hoping to go home very soon. Definitely.
But you really love Eugene. Like you said, you've tried to leave a couple times and keep coming back.
3 times. I moved to Alaska and decided no, hell no for Alaska. Alaska's beautiful. But especially like from April to September, but it starts snowing in September there, and the lack of light and everything. And then I moved to California, and then that's when I decided that I said to my husband at the time, I'm like, we're going to Eugene and I'm buying a house there. Like it wasn't like us or our or anything. It was like, okay. And so I came up here and put down roots. And I've actually been in my house for 16 and a half years or 16 and a half years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's.
So do you think when you are officially retired, you would get rid of the house?
I plan on getting rid of it sooner.
And then you're going to.
Don't know, but
it could literally be anything, knowing you.
Yeah, it could be. The dream is to have a place on Silver Star Mountain, a place in Oregon, and my friends have their place in Vancouver, and we call it the trifecta, although they're not really into the mountain, but I call it the trifecta because then it's like, oh, I've got the ski bungalow, I've got the Oregon, because the coast and the mountains bungalow, and then the Vancouver bungalow, which is their place. So I'll have something in Oregon, I think, always. So I'll keep roots here. I will work always partially in the United States. I'd like to start working a little bit in Canada too for part of the year or part way. Just trying to figure all of that out. But I'm way over my head being in a big house by myself. Like it just, there in all ways. I mean, it's this love. I don't want to say hate, but it's this love like, oh God, like you should see my house right now. Oh my God. I still haven't finished painting the cabinets.
I know it's crazy. You think you're supposed to have these things, and then it's like, well, now what? Now I have to pay for it and take care of it.
Yeah. And I mean, what I learned doing the cabinets is that my carpal tunnel is so bad in my hands and my wrists that I can't physically do the things that I used to do. Like, even if I wanted to build out a bus, I don't know if I physically could do it. Like, there's lots of things I can do, but then there's like this repetition with my hands that I can't do. So that sucks, So,
yeah.
But yeah, I like everybody, we all want to downsize and minimalize, but that's what I'm currently working on is downsizing and minimizing and just, yeah.
That is so awesome. Mindy, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be the first person to interview you. I think you're just a doll. Well, everybody's saying it's a great interview, awesome interview. And Mindy is just an amazing lady, absolutely amazing. And I can't wait till I get the opportunity to meet you in person.
I can't wait to meet everybody. Like, we need to do like a meetup, like so soon. It would be so fun. Because there's a lot of us on the West Coast. We don't have to go to Arizona, like the kitty litter box. We don't have to go to the kitty litter box to meet up. That's what it's like out there, people. I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun, but it's a giant kitty litter box.
Oh my goodness, you are. Good night, everyone.
Much love, you guys. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you soon.